Okay, so we've got Gary, we've only just got one swing from the side, one from the front, one from the back. So we've only got one example of each. Um, Really fantastic background, very bland. There's a vertical there, which is really nice, can be used. Love the artificial grass as well. So really good, and it's clear that I love all these little bits of tape that have been put everywhere. I haven't done justice to them at the moment, but we can come back and revisit anything that you want measured. So if there were things that you put the tape on to get a particular measurement, then let me know. So let's start going through this, and immediately we can see that this wonderful flat take back. If we go back to where about a meter, this is, we'll see in a minute, this is about 90 centimeters that the mallet is going back absolutely along the floor. And you can see the hands here. So I put a little marker on the hands, and the hands have literally just gone back. They just traveled back. And as we move through the swing now, we get to this wonderful bit um, at this stage where I keep pressing the forward button to go a frame at a time, and I'm thinking that the whole thing is stuck because basically the pause at the back here, this moment here, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and it's really only about 13 or 15 or so frames that the mallet is starting to come back down again. So there's this amazing pause at the back of the backswing, which is absolutely fantastic. And what's then really beautiful is that the mallet comes through on pretty much exactly the same trajectory that it started on, only much smoother in a much more prescribed arc. And it comes through, the hands are well ahead of the mallet head here. And so by the time the hands have now got to where they started from. See, this is where the hands started from, just here underneath the right-hand part of the drain pipe. The mallet head is a good 12 or more inches behind, so it's going to swing, it's going to get this lovely little flicking effect now as the mallet comes through. And the only thing that is interesting here is the fact that the mallet has started to come up already by the time it hits the ball. I just wonder or not, and this is something I've seen on everybody's swing pretty much, but I wonder if hitting the ball a bit further back might take advantage of the getting a better sort of contact on the ball, because at the moment we're hitting the ball here sort of on the bottom part of the mallet almost. You can see there, we didn't quite capture the right moment, but it's sort of nearer the bottom than the middle. The mallet is a good, 2 inches off the ground at this stage. So it is sort of more the bottom of the mallet that's hitting the ball here. Anyway, after that happens, off the ball goes. And I think this is a good way of illustrating the problem with the frames per second, is the frame rate, is the fact that when I press the forward key, that ball is not moving a consistent distance every frame, which of course it should be. See there, I hit the forward arrow on the keyboard twice and the ball didn't move. So there is something not quite right about the way the camera is interpreting the frames per second. And that makes measurement of speeds and things a little bit problematic. You can see up here that the software thinks we're only at 30 frames a second. We're quite clearly a lot higher than that, but it's just having trouble coming to terms with what it is. So the swing ends with the mallet not quite horizontal. That's where Gary is ending the swing. But you can see it's a beautiful arc as it comes through here. I put a little marker on the shoulder just to emphasize the fact that this is staying rock solid. I mean, if we go back and take a look at the swing again, it's amazing how very little movement of that shoulder there as we come through. There's a slight rocking back as the backswing is taken. If you look at, I put a little marker here on the back of the knees, and you can see that as the backswing is taken, we go back a couple of inches, and that then comes through as the swing is completed. Yeah, it's as steady as a rock, really, and I think actually that slight forward movement is something that's favoured because it's just the body helping the forward swing. I'm no expert, but that's what I'm told. So yeah, look at the absolutely incredible flatness here. And of course that's what this bent shaft really enables. The height at the back of the backswing, it gets to about 30 centimeters or so. I thought I had a little marker on that. Maybe that marker comes up at the end. Yes, there it is. So I put a marker there that comes to 30, which is pretty low, but obviously a lot of power is being generated despite that. And the really remarkable thing is this sort of whole meter where the mallet is just going backwards along the ground on the backswing. I'd be very interested to go back and measure the actual length of the pause of the backswing. So this period here, where the mallet is in that position there, so it's in terms of milliseconds, it's sort of between what 2.87 second and 3.4. It's about half a second, maybe even longer than that, and that's an amazing pause. So it just basically means that the weight of the mallet is now just going to just do all the work, and just that. I can imagine when you're taking the swing, you're just feeling the weight of the mallet at the top of the swing, and it wants to come down, and all you're letting it do is come down. It must be a great feeling. So we could maybe measure some angles and things if you wanted that. The next piece was, of course, the view from the back. Love the little tram lines you've got in here. And what I've done here is I've just measured the spot on the middle of the back of the mallet. And you can see as the backswing happens, it's basically going straight up, 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 up. But then after you've got to the top of the backswing, everything drifts to the left here. So as we continue on, look at that amazing drift over to the left-hand side, almost clipping the shoe. I mean, it literally comes within a centimetre of the shoe on that side. And now what's going to happen is that mallet's going to have to cut across the face of the ball. So as the mallet comes down, it's actually swinging from left to right. And as it contacts the ball, it's moving over to the right-hand side. So the mallet has ended up on the right-hand side of the line, and it started on the left. So that is sort of like cutting across the face of the ball. Now, clearly, it doesn't affect accuracy in any way, shape, or form because we're looking at one of the world's best outcomes here. But it is interesting that happens. And despite the fact the mallet sort of goes straight up, it comes back, it drifts over to the left and then swings over to the right through the ball. The other thing that you'll notice that happens here as the mallet comes back is that it twists, as we're looking at it on this view, it twists clockwise. And when we go forward and look at the next pane, which is from the front, and I'll just get rid of this before we do that. When we look at it from the front, we can see the mallet twist anti-clockwise. See how that the top part of the mallet is over towards 11 o'clock and the bottom of the mallet's over towards 5 o'clock. So the twist is consistent and the drift is consistent. You can see on this one that the drift has taken place over to Gary's left leg. And as the ball comes through, as the mallet comes through, it's cutting across the mallet and ending up on the right foot. So from the left foot to the right foot as a shot. So it's really interesting. I mean, this very gratifying for me because this happens to me all. I'm basically doing exactly the same thing, and I'm just not sure how important it is. And the only thing that we haven't really been able to do, we didn't do any angles, and because the frame rate is sort of in the air, it means that the speeds, doing the speeds of things is a bit difficult to sort of to come to terms with. But one thing we can do, even just treating these as relative speeds, is if we look at the mallet head, this is when it gets to its fastest velocity, and yet the ball is being hit just a little bit after that. And it comes back to what I was saying before about maybe there is some merit to hitting the ball a little bit further back in the swing because the mallet head speed is actually fastest just before that point, I think. I wonder as well what can be done to try and make it so that when the mallet hits the ball, it's lower. And I noticed that after Gary's hit the ball, he gives a little push. The elbows, well, they don't really flex, do they? It says, but I think the shoulders just give it a little nudge forward. I wonder if that happens slightly earlier, then more power and something that your contact might be a bit lower down. But it would be good to talk about what other things we could measure and maybe see a few other swings so that we can look at what is happening when different types of shot are being played. All right, well, hopefully that was of some use.